While I was in the waiting room, I picked up a brochure for a silicone prosthetic, and then he sees that brochure in my hands, and he says, most women are not too satisfied with that as a solution. I was like, well, what am I going to do? And he says, well, do you knit? That was the beginning of this journey.
It's so great to see. I mean, did you have any idea that what you two did would become this huge thing, that you'd have all these ladies around the table with you doing it too?
No.
Knitted knockers are exactly what they sound like, handmade prosthetics for breast cancer survivors.
A friend who is an avid knitter looked into it for her and was able to create one for Barbara to try.
It all of a sudden put a smile back on her face at a really dark time in her life.
But it wasn't enough for Barb to feel good about herself again. She wanted to help other survivors.
The organization Knitted Knockers has only been around for a handful of years.
Her dream is to have groups like this around the world.
But already they're changing lives.
They are changing lives one stitch at a time.
It started as a way to give back to those in need, and now it is a nationwide
nonprofit is looking to help survivors.
The nonprofit group, powered by volunteers, is finding success all over California and across the state of Wisconsin.
In Panama City Beach, Washington, whose simple idea has become a passion for these Oxford women.
Knitters in Albuquerque is using their craft for a cause.
In Washington State to yarn shops in West Michigan are donation points.
It connects knitters and crocheters with breast cancer patients.
Explains how they're making women feel whole again.
Started by a breast cancer survivor in the state of Washington, so it's all over the place.
In good health, more than 250,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
1 in 8 women will have breast cancer in their lifetime.
And with 50,000 mastectomies done a year, about 90% of those will wear a breast prosthetic at least for a while.
More breast cancer survivors who've had a mastectomy are now turning to knitted knockers.
I love the knitted knockers. They're a great alternative to the traditional prosthetic.
I mentioned to the group something about the Knitted Knockers organization, which I had read about in various magazines.
Able to help breast cancer survivors regain not only their figure, but also their confidence.
The story of Knitted Knockers and the woman behind them.
Little did I know the amazing network of volunteer knitters that are out there all across the country to provide for their own communities, to provide directly knitted knockers to their own cancer clinics and their medical clinics.
Bringing that little bit of light to all those women fighting breast cancer takes plenty of time, resources, and money.
And we just appreciate every one of those donations to help us get this done. Nobody gets any paychecks here. It's all volunteer.
They're distributing them all over the U.S.
all over
and
the country and internationally. Like I say, all over the world.
Providing an incredible service to breast cancer survivors worldwide.
Breast cancer survivors have another option,
which caused a prayer group in Nairobi to start knitting woolen artificial breasts.
Volunteers had time joining the rest in the Knockers Knitting Club.
And I knit knockers.
They carefully count the stitches.
As you can see, it's quite soft.
To help train how to make knitted knockers for the women of their country, and it was just received amazingly.
They've been incredibly well received already.
And even an award from the Susan G. Komen Foundation that created a tidal wave of demand.
The amazing privilege of that is beyond belief.
And welcome to Monday Night Football, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Seahawks recognizing that.
But beyond that, it's showing in a tangible way how people care.
Thanks for making Knitted Knockers.
Donated with love and a little bit of humor.
One side's down and one side's perky.
So no, test that yarn away. But we want it to be...
and always from love.
To make them feel better about themselves.
Knitted Knockers open a door to hope.
And that's why I'm doing Knitted Knockers.
Little did I know that cancer would change my life in such a positive way.
With yarn, needles, and stuffing.
These women are bringing
helping others
comfort to
regain their
others.
confidence.
A feeling of thanks.
Yeah, they're close to my heart, like literally now.
I'm infinitely grateful. Bless you and thank you for all that your volunteers are doing.
So that women at their most vulnerable point can actually pick out one that they want and take it home with them.
To find a prosthesis that is comfortable and beautiful and free.
Barbara Demarest says this isn't possible without all of the knitters and crocheters worldwide.
Teaching other groups to knit the knockers while meeting the demand.
We all know someone and we all want to help.
We had one lady who hadn't worn anything other than big baggy t-shirts.
A lot of people said that, it puts them in tears because somebody took the time to hand make something for them.
And she got her knitted knocker and she went into her wardrobe and she tried every item of clothing on that she had.
That someone makes it for you and gives it to you for nothing.
And best of all, it was made by somebody who cared.
It's quite overwhelming.
Creating something so small that has such a big impact on so many.
Making it really impossible to know how many survivors have been touched by knitted knockers.
The ability to change lives makes it worthwhile. I wouldn't change that for the world.
For now, there are many ways to get involved. You can start by visiting knittedknockers.org.
Knittedknockers.org.
Knittedknockers.org.